Welcome back to Seen and Supported with me, Shellie Stark. Conversations that heal, inspire, and remind you that you are never alone. I'm your host, Shellie, and today feels really special. It's a return, y'all. It's a reset. And honestly, it's a moment of gratitude. If you've been here before, thank you for staying. And if you're just joining, welcome. You're right on time. I've been away for a little while, and not because I didn't want to be here, but because life required for me to be present in other ways. Caregiving, and I've done all the things. Let me just share a little bit about what I've been doing since I've been away. The caregiving has been a huge role, as you all know, that I am a full-time caregiver. And so caregiving is my number one priority. So with that being said, with caregiving, there are the ebbs and flows of it. And so you have to show up and be present and diligent and give majority of most of your attention to that. And so between caregiving, y'all, I launched my book, Navigating Responsibilities, and just learning how to show up in areas of my life without losing myself in the process. And we've talked about this on previous episodes, but it is something different when you are living it. You can talk about it, you can speak about it with other people in conversation, but when you apply it and put action to it, it shows up a little different. And so today's episode is called Showing Up Anyway, the Return. Because sometimes showing up doesn't look perfect. It looks like continuing even when life is completely full. And I want to be fully transparent, as I have in the past, because this podcast is about being seen, supported. So with that being said, this season has definitely stretched me, but in a good way. In a good way. There has been days that I was caring for my mom, managing doctor's appointments and making meals and handling all of the emotional weight of it all, and then turning around and pouring into what I will share with you all, my book, which is titled Still Me, Finding Yourself Again in the Caregiver's Journey. This is the book, and when I tell you this is a labor of love, it has been a labor of just full gratitude. It has been the ability to be able to not only take lemons from and make lemonade, but it has been the ability to feel as though it is a gift, and me serving those who have walked my journey, walking my journey, or will walk the journey. And as we have talked about previously on the podcast, is when you are caregiving, it doesn't always mean for someone ill. You can be a parent, you can be a spouse. If you've ever held the weight and the responsibility of someone else, then you've been a caregiver, and you are a caregiver. So this book, Still Me, Finding Yourself Again, the Caregiver's Journey, this is my baby. This is near dear, because we all have to look in the mirror and see ourselves and define who we are, and enjoy it, accept it, and love who we are. So finding yourself is the start of that. And so it's Still Me, and I'll share information where you can get the book, and I'll put all of that in the episode comments below. But as I'm sharing with you about, pouring into my book, caregiving, stretching me, and let's just say becoming an author, that moment, that moment, holding, when I physically held the book in my hand, it was more than a milestone. It was more than a milestone for me. It was a reflection. It was a reflection of everything I had endured, everything I had carried. And through it all, I continued and chose to show up for me because that's the truth. You know, the book wasn't written from a place of ease, just being completely transparent, because we are a community here, right? And it was really written in a real time, in the middle of caregiving, in the middle of the exhaustion, in the middle of finding myself, what that looks like, who is she? You know, there were nights that I was tired, but I still wrote, even if it was one sentence, even if it was encouragement to myself. If that's all that I could write, that's all that I wrote. There were days I felt stretched then, but I still showed up. Not perfectly, but faithfully. And I I had to learn something really important. Showing up doesn't mean doing everything at once. It means honoring what matters, moment by moment. There were times I couldn't show up here with you on this podcast because I needed to show up in my everyday life. And I had to give myself permission to not feel guilty because I missed y'all. I missed you. I don't know if you missed me, but I missed you. I missed you. I really did. And I had to allow myself to show up where I was mainly needed and not feel guilty about it, because life isn't about balance in the way we think, right? It's about alignment. It's about knowing where we are and showing up in that truth. So let me just take a moment and just be 100% real in this. Because when we talk about balance, it sounds beautiful. It sounds so cliche. It sounds like everything is just flowing effortlessly, which is what we want. However, you know, we think about it as everything is aligned and everything is working together. But my truth, and I don't know about you, but there are moments that everything is not flowing, everything is not working together, and everything is not aligned. Balance didn't feel like peace at first. It felt like pressure. It felt like, how do I show up for my mom and show up for myself? Because now we're in a new territory. Now we're balancing caregiving, life, situations, and responsibilities. And now I matter. Now I'm back in the forefront and I need to care for myself. So I had to show up for myself. And the questions I would have for myself is, how do I build something meaningful like my book while still carrying the weight of caregiving? And I'll share a story closer to the end just to let you know what that balance looked like actually as of today. And I needed to know, how do I pour into others without running completely empty? They don't tell you, we don't talk about that. You don't tell you. What we say is, you can't pour from an empty cup, but we need the steps and the how. And what does that look like moment to moment? And there were moments that I didn't get it right away. There were days I was tired in my bones. Days where my body was present, but my mind needed rest. Days where I had to choose what gets my energy today. Should I answer the phone? Should I respond to this text message? Should I respond to this email? or what needs to wait. And I had to sit with that truth without guilt. It's because, honest, what you carry and what you can carry and what you can't, you have to know. You have to check in with you to know what your capacity level is in that moment. It's not day by day, it's moment by moment. And, that's where growth starts to flourish. At least it did for me. Growth didn't come from pushing harder. It didn't come from trying to be everything at once. It came from slowing down long enough to hear myself again. It it came from me saying, Shellie, you matter too in this moment. Not just as a caregiver, not just as a now new author, not just as someone who shows up for everyone else, helping them navigate their experience, but as you. In writing, Still Me, that wasn't just a project. That was a mirror. I flipped that mirror around to me, and I allowed myself to see me. I allowed myself to see myself. It forced me to look at areas that had stretched me beyond my limits, where I had silenced my own needs. We can point the finger out to everyone else. Oh, this person silenced me or that situation happened. But where have you silenced you? Where have you dimmed your voice? And so I needed to know where I had forgotten that I was still a person inside of all of the responsibilities. And what I found was that I was still there. Maybe tired, maybe stretched, but still me. And that's the truth. I had to come home within me because life will keep asking things of you, not day by day, but moment by moment. Caregiving doesn't take breaks. Responsibilities don't pause. Dreams don't always come at a convenient time, but you have to learn how to meet yourself in the middle of it all. That's the real balance. It's not perfect. It's not always pretty. It's what I would say, but it's honest. It's your true transparency. Me getting up here and coming to the podcast and talking to you and sharing and sending you my light, this is me pouring into myself as well. Me being able to comb my hair and put makeup on and make myself feel beautiful. This is for me. I'm doing this for me. So I'm coming from an honest place because this is what makes me feel good. And I'd rather live in truth than perform in perfection. That is huge. Living in your truth rather than performing in perfection. Because when you unzip and you wipe the makeup off, you take the clothes off, and you lay down and you sit and you're just with your thoughts. And the question is, do you feel full or do you feel like you have exhausted? When I leave from talking to you all, when I leave from having our conversation, I feel so alive. It's like being in New York again. I do, and that's the city that makes me feel so alive. I feel so alive, and I just feel so full of life. Do what pours into your cup. Be around and surrounded with those who pour into your cup, because that is what living in your truth is. When we hear show up, we think it means being consistent, being strong, being everything, like I said, for everyone. But what I've learned is that it's deeper than that. It's choosing to be present, even when life feels heavy. It's choosing not to abandon you. while you're caring for everything and everyone else. And sometimes showing up looks like resting. Sometimes it looks like you want to lay in the bed and watch a good show and eat popcorn. Sometimes it looks like saying, I'll call them back when I can get a moment that I can share in conversation with them. That's what this season has taught me. It didn't stop me, it just shifted me. It, I didn't disappear. I was and am becoming. And now that I'm here, not as someone who has figured it all out, as you know, I just took a break. So no, I haven't figured it all out, but as someone who is choosing to return, someone who is choosing to show up anyway. This season has given me clarity. It reminded me that I am more than what I produce. Know that you are more than what you produce and what you could give anyone else. It reminded me that my voice matters, even when it's quiet. And it reminded me that I can hold multiple roles without losing who I am. I am a caregiver. I am an author. I am an entrepreneur. I am a friend. I am so much more than one title. I wear so many hats. And I am a woman who is still becoming. So this soft reminder to you, you are still becoming. And maybe your showing up looks different right now. Maybe it's just getting through the day. Maybe it's choosing yourself in small ways. Maybe it's holding on when you feel like letting go. Whatever it looks like, it counts. You're showing up, even in the pieces. If it feels safe, close your eyes. I really would like to take a moment to pause and check in with ourselves. Again, if you feel safe, close your eyes. And let's take a deep breath in through our nose and exhale, releasing it and letting it go. Feeling it from your face as you exhale, releasing the tension from your neck, your shoulders. And repeat this with me gently. I am allowing myself to grow at my own pace. I am allowed to reset and return. I honor how I show up, even when it's not perfect. I am still here. Let's take one more deep breath in. Inhaling through the nose and releasing through the mouth. This is your moment to return to you. However that shows up for you. However that looks, this is your moment. So I want to thank you. Thank you for choosing to be here with me. Thank you for allowing me space to grow and for welcoming me back. This return means more to me than you ever know, because it's not just about coming back to the podcast. We are family. It's about coming back also to myself. And I am excited to share, like I said, the book, Still Me, Finding Yourself Again Through the Caregiver's Journey. And it is out now. It is out to the world. And so that is what I am just so thankful and grateful for. So I just would love to leave a piece of my heart and my truth. My journey is now something that can hopefully support you too and hold your hand as a companion while you walk your journey. So I will put the information to the book feel free and led to purchase and allow me to walk hand in hand and the book to be your companion on your journey. You don't have to have it all together. Remember, you don't have to be perfect to be present, and you don't have to do this alone. I want you to know you are seen, you are supported, you are valued. If this episode resonated with you, please share it. Share it with someone who needs a reminder. And don't forget to subscribe and never miss a moment with us because I truly, truly, truly love you. This is Seen and Supported with me, Shellie Stark. A reminder that conversations heal, inspire, and remind you that you are never alone. I'll be back next week, back on track and back on schedule. But until then, take a deep breath and release through your mouth. And honor the way you're showing up right here, right now. Be well, my free birds. And when and if you purchase the book, please drop comments. Let me know how it is supporting you. Feedback. I would love to have a conversation to just talk about our seen and supported. I will be opening a community, so be on the lookout for that. I will share that information as well, where we can talk more regularly versus once a week via the podcast. We'll be able to communicate in our own community. So I look forward to seeing you there. Love you, my free birds. Mwah. Be well.